Welcome to Just 2 Minutes. I'm your host, Kamil Sarji. This is where I ask someone a bunch of questions for 2 minutes. And then after that, we talk about your business and the industry. So let's get started. We got a timer here so we can keep on track. And I'm going to put this here. Ready?
I'm ready. My body is ready.
Oh, by the way, look at this. I'm promoting you.
Very nice.
CMS
You have
Home.
the shirt on. I got. All right, ready? So we're starting the timer now. Okay. If you were in a store and this old lady, an antique store, if the old lady broke something antique in there and you saw her, would you tell the owner that she broke something?
I don't know. Probably not. That's her, the owner. I'd let her deal with it. She should tell the owner herself, right?
Yeah, like what's she doing in
That's
there?
what I would do if I broke it. I'd tell the owner, like, oh, oops.
Okay, good. All right, so you're visiting, you're in prison, just doing, doing a tour on the prison, and the guard leaves you alone for a second, and there's an inmate in, behind the cage, cage or bars, I don't know. And he's like, hey, could you do me a solid, man? Could you reach out to my girlfriend and tell her I love her and give her this message, blah, blah, blah. Would you?
I would, but I would also have come with burner phones for all the inmates, so he could call her himself.
That's nice of you. Yeah. Okay, so you have gum and you're like, I need to spit this out. Would you spit it out from your car in the parking lot, or would you spit it out, leaving the building in the parking lot, walking?
I would swallow it. You can swallow gum, it's fine. I won't say in your intestines for 7 years.
Oof.
So that's your only options, but I would have probably had the wrapper with me and just put it in the wrapper and then throw them in the trash like a civilized human being.
Nice. Yeah, I hate, that's my pet peeve, is like stepping on gum somewhere.
Yeah, it's gross.
Have you ever eaten a worm?
No.
Okay.
I don't even like those goomy worms. They're too gross looking. They look like worms.
Have you seen someone eat a worm in live, like in person?
Not that I recall. I wouldn't be surprised. There was a kid in school that I think would have done that.
Have you ever killed a human being? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer.
Every Thursday. It's a ritual for me.
Oh my gosh. Sam.
Did I do okay? Did I break the law too much?
You did all right. It was just random questions, just curious.
Yeah.
Oh man. After these 2 minutes, I'm like, adrenaline's pumping. How about you?
Or do you? Let me ask you one.
Yeah, well, you can make your own show and ask questions. But tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce you. I'm talking about myself. That's Kamil Sarji. Tell us about yourself.
I am me. My name is Sam Bianchini. I run and operate CMS Home Inspection.
I've always pronounced your last name wrong, but the way you said it,
I don't care. No, yeah, it's CH in Italian. It's supposed to be a K pronunciation. I don't care. Bianchini, Smith, Johnson.
It's Italian?
Yeah.
Do you go like that when you say your name?
Yeah.
Bianchini.
Mario, Luigi. He's marinating his own ragu.
So you do home inspections. What are the things that you inspect? Because I know a lot of home inspectors, and some do some things, some don't do other things, and blah 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 blah. So what do you do?
So I do home inspections in Rhode Island, Mass, and Connecticut. I do septic inspections in Rhode Island and Connecticut. I do well water testing and inspections here in Rhode Island, Mass, and Connecticut. Radon testing. Sewer scopes inspections as well. Also offer mold testing, either air samples or surface samples, either with or without inspections as well.
Wow.
So kind of anything inspection-y related. Basically the only things I don't really test for is lead and asbestos, because the licensing for that's a bit of a hassle.
But for the lead, don't you need the pen? You'd be like...
They use the X-ray gun now. They still do scrape testing. Actually, it's kind of interesting that they do that still. Actually, the child, if you adopt a kid, I guess I've had a client where they had to get tested, the house that they were buying tested prior to buying it, because they had a kid in foster care, And the state came out and did it themselves, and the state doesn't use the gun. They still just use scrape and then send it to a lab. It's
Okay.
good old government. Slow work for you.
Yeah. No, I've seen I mean, I don't know how long ago this was, but they took out a pen in their pocket and they like drew on the paint and then it turned red. They're like, yep, it's lead. Why don't they use that? Isn't that easier than paying so much for that stupid X-ray gun?
Yeah, the X-ray gun penetrates deeper for one, and they do still you can buy stuff yourself online of like swabs that you'll touch a surface, and if it's lead, and you put in a color, it changes color of the swab. But that's all limited because that's just surface only.
Because with the pen, like, isn't there a way to like trick it to not penetrate through to get to the lead, so they can paint something that doesn't?
And like I say, I don't see that used anymore. The industry standard these days is the gun.
Well, you know what? I go to Job Lot and I give them $100 and they take out the pen, and they're doing nothing on it.
Yeah.
Same thing. They still use it at Job Lot, but I know it's different, but they should have a gun to know if the money is real or not.
The money. Lead on your money, you use lead money. That's a heavy wallet.
All right, so that's with lead. What about asbestos? Besides like sniffing it to see if it is asbestos or not.
Yeah, I like to just chew on it. Yeah, it's got a texture that's very distinctive and a flavor. No, asbestos, there's common items we know that contain asbestos or that possibly contain it at least. Like vermiculates, there's a chance. Aerosol insulation on pipes, steam pipes, that stuff's pretty obvious. But there's a lot of products that had asbestos in it that you wouldn't know without testing, so it's always limited anytime you do inspection. Back in the 70s, I believe, there was a product sold from China. It was just drywall, but it contained asbestos. And you would never know, it just looks like regular drywall. You go in someone's house, you wouldn't know if they had it or not without testing it. So that's one of those things you can't ever identify during a regular home inspection. It's uncommon though.
So vermiculite, not many agents know about that. I mean, they probably have not run into vermiculite. Can you talk about that? Because I had this issue a long time ago and pretty much like broke the deal because the home inspector said, "Oh, vermiculite, that means asbestos." So
vermiculite is a mineral. First of all, you can go to the Home Depot, buy it in the garden section. It holds on to water pretty good, so people use it for potted plants. Vermiculite's a mineral. Asbestos is a group of minerals, and there was a brand of vermiculite insulation sold in North America, particularly mostly America, not Canada, but I think it made its way into Canada a little bit too. And the quarry that they were mining the vermiculite from had a strip that was contaminated with asbestos minerals. So it got mixed in with the vermiculite. They would sell it in bags, and people would use it to insulate. It's like a loose insulation they put up in their attic. So there's a chance that any vermiculite you see in America is probably sold by Zonalite, and there's a chance it was contaminated. You can test it, and it may or may not contain it, because depending on where they dug the bag from in the quarry. So you have to take multiple samples of multiple areas. EPA says if you have it in your attic, you should just, one of the things with asbestos is if you don't disturb it, it's not considered a health hazard. So if it's in a non-friable condition where you're not breathing particles, it's not a concern. So the EPA's stance on vermiculite is if you see it, assume it likely contains it unless you do testing to confirm one way or the other. And just don't use that attic space. So if you have it in an attic, don't store stuff up there. They tell you not to cut holes in your ceiling for your attic, like putting in a bunch of recessed lights and stuff, So you don't have to remove asbestos if you have it. There's ways to work around it. As long as it's just like with asbestos floor tile, you can encapsulate it. There's different ways to deal with it. From my perspective, zonal vermiculite, it's something to note, definitely informing the client. I wouldn't have straight up told them it does contain asbestos. I would say there's a chance, and I would have recommended testing. I would have informed them too about the EPA stance on it. I always would defer to them. They're the experts more so than others. But, I've seen it where it causes issues because I did a house where a flipper cut a bunch of recessed lights in, and now it was coming down the walls, and it was in the cabinets of the kitchen and the bathrooms from the plumbing pipes that they ran. Because the flipper didn't know what it was. They just flipped. You know, flipper's going to flip.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, that's really bad. So with your home inspections, like your the many that you've done, was there ever a time where something really bad happened? Like something blew up?
There was one time I want to remove a panel cover, and what was it? Once I got in there, I noticed a wire was loose, and I always check the wire to see if they're secure and stuff, and it sparked a bit, which is not supposed to do, but it identified the issue. It was funny because since it was so loose, I shut off the breaker and removed it so it would be safe until an electrician could fix it, because you don't want to leave a loose connection there. I could overheat at any moment. And the seller agent was kind of annoyed at me for that. He's like, "Oh, so you just disconnected one?" I'm like, "I prevented the wire from melting. You're welcome."
Right. Wow. So speaking of the panel, I know licensed electricians brought up this big issue with inspectors opening up the panel.
Where's yep. So
What
that did not get
that?
nothing happened with that. The bill died in the Senate floor, Congress, or wherever the hell it was. Never got passed, never got enacted. It's still in the licensing laws for home inspectors in Rhode Island to remove the panel cover. It still says that in the SOP, standards of practice. We must remove the panel cover. Only times we don't have to is if it's basically would pose a hazard, such as if the panel cover itself is energized, which I luckily haven't come across because I'd be dead, because I never checked them like you're supposed to.
Yep.
None of us do. It's we got in a bad habit of that. But yep, you still have to do that. They're trying to do that. Electrician unions have tried to do that in almost every state in America, and every single time no state has enacted it. I don't see it going anywhere. It would be ridiculous if it did.
These electricians are so busy. How can they? I mean, you have to pay them to come over, open the panel. Yup, it's good. Or nope, it's not. Pay me $1,000 to fix all these things.
I mean, it would definitely affect your 10-day contingency windows. It would definitely affect the pricing. I mean, a home inspection is a hell of a deal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The amount of things we're looking at and liable for if we miss for the price we're doing is kind of insane. So an electrician's going to charge you a good amount just to come out and do that. And yeah, good luck finding one in 10 days, like you said. The other issue is conflict of interest. Home inspectors were legally not allowed to do any repairs, even if I'm a licensed electrician too. If I owned CMS electrical company, if I find an issue in your house in Rhode Island, I'm not allowed to do any repairs on that for any company I have a vested interest in for a minimum of 12 months after inspection. So I can't come to you and say, you have this issue with your electric, now hire CMS Electric and I'll come out and fix it for you.
Yeah.
Because for all you know, as a consumer, I just told you a load of lies.
Or it could be a company that you invested, you're half owner of until,
Yeah. So yeah, you're not legally allowed to do that. My concern from that is electrician is someone unscrupulous going to come out and tell you, oh, your panel needs to be replaced. Hire me on a house you're buying, and there was nothing wrong. I actually had that happen one time. I was trying to sell my house, and I needed an electrician to go out there. My first house I was selling about 12 years ago, and I just need a couple double taps fixed on record. I mean, I should have really opened up and looked at it myself, but whatever. It was just one of those things. First time I was selling a house and think things through. And the guy came out, and it's a GE panel with a little tiny mini breakers. You can still go to the store. There's tons of them out there. He told me it was antiquated and you can't get parts for it anymore. And he told me I should replace it because he thought I was the buyer. He thought I just bought the house and just moved in. And he thought he could upsell me. I'm like, nope, I'm trying to just sell the house, do as little to it as I can because it is what it is at this point. And if I was a stupider person who didn't know that it's not antiquated, it's not like it's some outdated, it's not like a breaker you can't buy. You can just walk into Lowe's and get it. And he tried selling me a whole new panel because he saw money.
And that's what drove you, that and the being in the home inspection, that's what drove you to start your business.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. So some of that, I've gone through the inspection process myself, buying 2 houses so far and selling to one. First home inspector missed some stuff that I thought was pretty obvious. It was kind of interesting. It was a Massachusetts licensed inspector, so my guy told me not to use a Rhode Island guy because back then there was no licensing. And he missed some stuff that was pretty obvious. Like the roof, he said had some damage and needed to be repaired, but he failed to mention it was an asphalt shingle roof on a flat roof, which you can't do.
Oh man, yeah.
That's common knowledge. If I had walked the roof, and I would have known that, even though I was an inspector. I wasn't an inspector back then.
Yep.
So first year I moved, living in the house, water damage all on my roof, on my bedroom ceiling. I have to replace that whole section because that was a flat roof section. So that's just something I think a home inspector should have caught. Wrong material on a wrong roof slope. Pretty obvious. And then when I went to sell that house, we had a licensed guy, a Rhode Island company here, come out and did an inspection and said a lot of stuff that was kind of interesting. Like he said, because I had cloth jacketed, non-metallic sheet wire, and that the whole house was unsafe electrically speaking. That those wires are older, yeah, but they all had grounds. They were all, the jacket and the sheathing was all in good condition. Said some stuff like I was missing a window. Like he said, I literally didn't have a window, and I did have a window. I tapped on the glass and said, I'm like, it looks like the glass is there. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what happened there. And there's some other stuff that like I think he could have confirmed. Like he couldn't confirm with my bathroom exhaust vented outside, but because there was no attic access in that house, so turn the fan on, walk outside, you can see the damper of the exhaust open up.
Yeah.
That's what I do for my clients. It's not hard to do that. You open the door and walk out.
So another question is, what percentage of homes that have a bathroom fan that it's not connected and not venting outside, is actually venting to the attic? What percentage of homes have it set up the wrong way?
I mean, it's one of the more common things I see, yeah.
And what percentage would you throw at it?
60% maybe.
60%?
60% are vented outside, sorry. 40% aren't.
40%?
Yeah, it's pretty common. New construction, you won't see that really anymore.
Because I mean you're showering, all the steam gets vented and stays in the attic, and what happens after that? Like,
you'll get a little mold growth just in that location.
Yeah.
I see that. So I see mold in attics a lot, and it's odd because every time I see mold in an attic, the agents always ask me, was this bathroom venting up in the attic? And I'm like, well, in this case, yes. In this case, no. But people seem to think like if you vent a bathroom exhaust fan up in an attic, the whole attic's going to turn to mold. In my experience, it's just a little pocket area right where the fan's blown onto. So I come across a lot of mold in attics because attics aren't ventilated correctly. You need intake and exhaust vents, and if you don't have the right mixture, your attic's going to get too hot, too humid, and it will promote mold growth. So I've gone in attics where it's mold all throughout, everywhere, and the agent's trying to say it's because the bathroom wasn't vented out, and I'm like, yeah, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty common. My favorite is when they bother to go up there, put a little louver damper on it in the attic, keep like rodents from getting in the duct, I guess, and going in. I don't know. It's interesting stuff.
That's awesome.
I'm like, yeah. And I've had flippers do that, and they try and argue with me, well, the attic's vented, so I can do that. So I'm like, no, you're not supposed to, but okay.
So I got two more questions. First, I asked if there was any crazy blow up that happened, but while you're walking around with a buyer looking at a home, in your experience, I mean, in your database, have you ever had a buyer touch something or do something they weren't supposed to and mess up?
No,
anything?
No, luckily not. No, I have had buyers when I'm showing them the panel. I tell them always keep your hands out. I'm gonna put my hands in. I know where to touch and where not to. But I had one older guy start reaching in. He said he wasn't gonna, but I got nervous and I just kind of pushed his arm out. I was like, "Oh, sorry, sir." And I was like, "You're calling me sir? First of all, that's weird." But I mean, that's the thing that makes me a little nervous. Is I want to show the clients what I'm talking about in the panel. You'll see the photos, but sometimes you need to explain, and they want to see right there, And sometimes it helps to explain with the agent present so they can see too, because the report's gonna be brief. I'm not gonna rattle on my report. Any issue I find is going to be like 2 sentences to explain it, identify it, and recommend a repair. So it's good to sometimes go over it. But yeah, I just don't understand why some people feel the need to. I'm showing you don't need to reach and go, what's that? Just please.
This wire's hot. Touch it. See how hot it is.
Yeah. Some people, they don't understand. I've gone in my test drive and I've showed them like the spine, the main spine. I'm like, all right, there's 100 amps right here. If you touch this, see, with my little test, I'm like, this part right here. If you touch that, you're gone. Bye.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay. And then they step back a little further. Yeah.
So I have something to admit. I've been on home inspections, and I've also been around with contractors or construction or whatever. Usually me, it's someone else standing there, but the home inspector is digging down and their butt crack is showing. And, we're both staring at it, like me and the buyer or buyers, we're all staring at the butt crack.
Yeah.
And it takes about a few seconds to realize.
You're staring at.
Yeah, and then we look at each other and then we look away all embarrassed. So that happens. That happens.
Well, here's the thing. You should say thank you to that inspector for the free show. And maybe carry some pennies and drop them.
I don't know. I don't know why we have to we look at it and we're processing and then we're like,
you can admit,
oh crap, and then we look at each other all embarrassed and
you're
look
not
away.
embarrassed. You like it. It's fine.
So how do you prevent that from happening to you?
I wear extra long undershirts underneath my work shirts.
Okay.
Tuck them in because I have a very high butt crack myself. Yep.
I think I've seen your butt crack before. So this must have happened.
Yeah,
this must have happened.
I remember that.
In the last couple of years or so.
A lot of margaritas were involved.
Oh, goodness. So, Sam, awesome. Thank you for coming in and getting interviewed by me. What did you think of this whole thing?
Very nice, very nice.
Awesome.
I kind of want to touch your head. Very nice. Finest skull in all of Rhode Island.
Thank you. All right.
Have a wonderful life.
All right, over here. You can point at them, smile. All right.